Hi guys, welcome to Cat Jam in the Car. Today we have a special guest, Sue. Welcome.
Hi. Guys.
Sue, please introduce yourself. I don't even know how to pronounce your last name.
It's Hu. Just 古月湖. It's like Shuang Shuang is my Chinese name. Shuang Shuang.
Shuang Shuang. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, like in China, we always like to kind of just repeat it. Yeah, nickname.
That
Shu,
repeat.
Hu, right? Shuang.
Yeah, and then Shuang became Shu because in Australia people like to give nicknames and shorten words. So my name became Shu, and my last name is Hu. So it's like Shu Hu.
Oh,
they call me
cute.
Shuang Hu.
Shuang Hu. Yes. So please introduce yourself. And
Oh, hey guys, my name is Shuang Hu. I'm a content creator and actress, writer, and producer. And you would have seen me on my comedy skits online, I'm sure. And I've been on TV shows like The Family Law, Ronnie Chang International Student. And I have a movie coming out next year called 5 Blind Dates, which will be on Amazon Prime.
wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That sounds like a rom-com.
It is a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's my favorite genre of all time.
So like rom-com is your genre.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you like write it? Did you like obviously you started in that one, right? That's your own film.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually co-wrote it with my wonderful writing partner, Nathan Ramos Park. Shout out to him. And we co-produced it as well with Gold Post Pictures in Australia. And we co-created it, I guess. Nathan and I came up with the idea. We pitched it to Amazon and they were brave enough to develop it with us.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Your like first big feature, right? And it's your own film. And you're a producer, you're a writer, you star of the film.
Yeah.
Nice. That's like totally your own project.
Yeah, it's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did you film in Australia or here?
In Australia.
Nice. Because I do heard like the tax incentive in Australia is way better, right? Compared to Hollywood.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I don't even know if there is any tax breaks in Canada. I mean, in California.
Yeah, California is like right now. I think we lost so much production because like other places are way more just competitive. Like Canada. I think even other states.
Yeah, has good
Georgia,
tax breaks. Yeah.
New Mexico.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So how long took you guys finish the film?
Gosh, we pitched it in May 2020. It's already May 2023. So it's been 3 years, guys. Oh, it was meant to be done in 2 years. Anyways.
Yeah, so it's finally there. Like that's like
it's happening. It's
happening. It's coming out, right?
It's coming out.
Yeah, I can't wait to
out.
see it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Me too. Can't wait for you guys to see it.
So can you give us a little bit of sneak peek, like the characters, like you play, and the story? Obviously, it's like a love story, right?
I can only talk about what has already been announced. Logline is the main character, Leah Ling. She is told by a fortune teller that she will marry one of the next 5 dates she goes on. She'll marry the guy. One guy from the next 5 dates she goes on.
Okay. So
Sends her on this journey.
okay, so basically you have to go on 5 dates, right? In this story.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so can't wait to see it.
Yes.
So eventually it happened, right? At the end, it's a happy ending.
We don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll see it.
Have to
Okay.
wait and see.
I'm proud of you. It's so great, like to see like girls like you, like produce and write and star in your own thing, right?
Oh, I had a lot of help along the way.
Yeah, I'm
did
sure you
not
did a whole
do it
team.
on my own. Yes.
Yeah.
Just everyone assisted.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's your original idea, right? It's your like you want to do this.
Yes,
cool.
yes.
We're gonna stay tuned to
Stay
watch that.
tuned.
Yeah. All right. So Sue, how did you get into like a content creation? And you mentioned about you were actress before, right? So how do you get into that?
I think it was quite a natural transition because during the pandemic, basically our industry shut down. So there was no more productions, no more auditions. There was nothing to do. We couldn't leave the house. And my 2 friends and I happened to be making content on the day they announced the lockdown. So we said, right, the 3 of us are in this little bubble together. Let's just make content together since we can't see anybody else. So the 3 of us kept seeing each other, kept meeting up, like 3 times a week we would just make content together, and they were just great. They're both actors as well, so they were able to bring acting talent to each other's videos, and I credit a lot of my success to them because they taught me a lot, and they were instrumental in the success of my videos. And then one day, one of my videos did really well. It trended, and then I kept making videos like that, and they just all trended, and they all did really well. So that's basically what happened. That was the start.
So basically, the lockdown kind of gave you the perfect timing to create content, right? Yes.
I always wanted to. I actually always did it bit by bit, but I never did it consistently enough. I would just make an odd video here and there because that was not my main focus. Acting was my main focus. Filmmaking was my passion. So I was just dabbling in social media. I didn't really understand it. But then after getting into it, I realized that, oh, this is a whole industry, and there's like a way. It's like with any industry, there's a way to succeed in it.
Yeah, I feel like the whole like TikTok, right? Like they said, it changed the industry a lot, and like, you know, so many like TikTok star got discovered by William Morris and all those agents. Because one of my friend worked for William Morris, they mentioned about it. They went to TikTok and just got talent, and like we heard Addison Rae, she got her film deals because of TikTok. I just feel like now, also with like, you know, the whole traditional filmmaking, like our industry, cable TV is dying. I think people start to join into like just social media, watching content on their phone, right? So do you feel like you got into like this perfect timing? And then, of course, obviously, you mentioned about, you know, you guys stay consistent. That's very important as well, right? So, like right now, do you see yourself more focused on content creation, or like more filmmaking or acting?
Both. I am doing both right now. And it is proving very difficult. Time-wise, I just don't have a lot of time anymore. Because content creating takes up a lot of time. You got to think about ideas, constantly editing, constantly putting it out there, and films as well. Trying to produce projects and get money to get things made, and then also trying to develop my own projects. It's hard, and then auditioning for other people's projects. It's definitely a mission, but I'm still very much focused on both right now while I have the bandwidth.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, I feel like the both kind of require acting, right? Like I've seen your stuff, like lots of your content are very much about like storytelling as well, right? Like, you know, I mean, like I was so surprised how organized you are. Like last week we were doing that, and I saw you have the whole script written down, and you kind of just follow the very traditional, the way people filmmaking, like, you know, doing different shots, you know, right? Yeah, so it's like a I would say mini filmmaking, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a micro filmmaking process. I think that's why I enjoy it so much and I love it. I wouldn't say that I'm a traditional influencer. My content creating, they're comedy skits. So they're planned and they're precise, and I make it so that I can have a creative outlet for the ideas in my mind, because that's really why I started acting and filmmaking, is just being able to put the ideas that I have in my head out there, and also to tell stories and to portray characters that I could never be myself. And so being able to have my own control over my own content online and put my content out and directly be able to give that to my audience to watch, and have an audience even to watch it, is very fulfilling, and it's hard for me to give that up. Yeah,
so you actually enjoy like content creation, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I do think like, because yours are different from some other like content creator. I feel like yours is more focused on like a character driven storytelling. like and also like you mentioned about like your favorite genre is the rom-com, right? Like for your contents more like a sketch comedy, right?
Yeah.
So like comedy is your thing. Do you feel like you see yourself more like a drama actress or comedy actress? I would say nowadays call actor. Let's cannot call actress actor.
I always thought of myself as a bit more of a drama actor, but I kept getting cast in comedies and I just leaned into it. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I do have a funny bone here or there, because I never thought of myself as a funny person. I still don't really think of myself as a funny person. I think I just can see funny situations and then I make fun of it and I portray it to people who can relate to it. But I don't know how funny I really am. I'm still unaware of that.
Or like dramedy, right? Like dramedy.
Yeah, I like dramedies.
So,
yeah. You know what? I think if I'm gonna be truly honest, I think I'm both. I think I enjoy comedy acting and I enjoy drama acting as well. I think drama's harder for sure.
Right. So like I feel like nowadays like lots of genres so mixed. It's like dramedy. People like to see a dramedy a lot. There's no like fine line or drama or comedy, right? Plus people always say you can do comedy, you can certainly do drama.
They say that, they say if you are good at comedy, you can do drama because it's all rooted in truth.
Yeah. So what's your inspiration for performing? You said you got into like acting when you were back in Australia, right? So you were in like several TV shows back then, right? Did you know you always want to do like performing arts when you were a kid?
Like, looking back, yeah, I think I did. When I was 6, I used to put on performances for our family. In primary school, my sister and I, and then these 2 twins that we used to hang out with, the 4 of us, used to put on random performances for our family. And then starting from grade 6, my friends and I would start just like randomly making up dances and then trying to like dance whoever was popular at the time, like girl bands and boy bands, mimicking their dance moves and putting on performances for our classmates for no reason. And I used to audition for rock pop, like the School of Stepford, like the rock pop mime school performances. And that was actually the first time I ever thought I had an inkling of talent in that field, which was when I was in grade 7. I auditioned for the school performance. I landed the lead and I still don't know how, because I did it not because I wanted to, but because I was forced to by my best friend at the time. She wanted to do it and I was like, she was like, please audition with me, and I was like, oh, okay, if I have to. And I never ever thought of performing as a job or something that I would ever be chosen to do or good at.
Right.
I just loved it and then fell into it.
So like at a time, like obvious, like for lots of Asian kids, like when we're like kids, like parents were sending you go to like learn like a dance or whatever, but they never want you really pursue this as a profession, right? I don't know about your parents. How do you feel about your parents? Do they support what you do?
I think they do now because I
you
can
made
support
it
myself financially from it.
Which is all about like, can you make money by doing that, right?
Can you be stable?
Yeah.
I think that's all they care about. If you can do it and you can do it well and you can make money from it, good for you. Yeah.
But when you just started, say when you were like back in Australia, when did you start?
Oh yeah, no, gosh, I started this 10 years ago. No, yeah. My parents were not supportive at all. I think my dad, I remember when he first watched my show come out, that was 8 years ago, he said to me, don't give up your day job.
Well, he still said that. Even he watched your first show, he still said that.
Yeah, I don't think he thought I was any good. I don't think I was any good. I watched it back and I was like,
do you have a day job back then?
I did.
Oh,
I
cool.
did.
You're a good Asian kid.
I was a great Asian kid. Yeah. Graduated, and my parents were like, you just got to graduate, get your first full-time job, and then make your first investment. And once you're financially stable, you can go do whatever you want. So they say. I think whatever they want meant like you can go date, you can go, spend time and money on other things.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like, when did you decide you quit your daytime job?
It's actually when I booked the family law because my boss at the time gave me an ultimatum. He said, if you want to do that job, because I had to take 8 weeks off work, he said, if you want to go and film that, then you will not have a job to come back to. I need you to be 110% focused on this job. So either you keep this job and let go of that show, or you take that show and you won't have a job when you come back. So obviously I had to quit. I was not going to give up that opportunity. Are you kidding me? It was like the one Asian show in Australia, the first show with a full Asian cast.
Oh, really? Tell us about it. We wanted to know.
Oh, it's called The Family Law. It's based on a book called Benjamin Law, called The Family Law. So it's about a family with the last name Law. You know, Fresh Off the Boat in America? It's like that. It's like Australian's version of Kim's Convenience and Fresh Off the Boat.
I was just about to see about that show, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a family, a TV show about an Asian family, and I play the oldest sister of the kids. And it's basically their life growing up in Sunshine Coast, in a small city, small town. I don't know if you can call it a city. A small town in Queensland, Australia.
Wow. So, how many seasons?
We did 3 seasons.
Oh, that's pretty good, right?
Not bad for Australia.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of like that's your first big break.
Yeah, that was my big break.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then your parents were like finally approved, says you can do this.
Yeah,
Cool.
sort of. They were just like, okay, have fun, but don't forget about your finance job.
Or like one day you're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, and I tried. Actually, I did. After that project, I did both. So while I was auditioning, I did locum work, which is where I do my job but for different companies. Almost like I had an agent and I would just get palmed out to different companies to do my job. It was almost like working for myself.
I feel like Asian kids are just like the most hardworking, race ever,
Yeah, because of our parents.
Yeah, and it's so responsible, right?
Yeah.
Here in LA, honestly, you moved to LA, you already got your own things get together. You have your own shit together, right? I just see when I was in acting school, so all the kids moved from different states. They came here just with their dream. That's it. And then I think most of them moved back to their hometown. I would say almost 80% moved back to Texas, Minnesota, because they only came here with their dream.
Yeah.
And then also they're not well trained, and you came to LA, you have to keep taking classes.
Sure.
They have no financial, also they don't have credits. So basically start from zero, right?
Yeah.
Last time this casting director did my podcast, he mentioned about it. He said he want to give advice to people who want to move to LA. He said just make sure you're ready before you move here. So I think for your situation, when did you move to LA?
It's been 5 years now.
Oh, 5 years. So yeah. So how do you feel like it's different from Australia, even the film field?
Yeah. I mean,
It's more competitive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's black and white. It's like chalk and cheese. You can't compare. It's so hard to compare Australia and America. Especially, if we're talking about the industry, there is a very small and niche industry in Australia where they like to use the same people to do the same things, and you'll see the same people on TV, and there's very few new faces because the industry is so small. They can't take a risk on someone new and unproven. There's very limited opportunities for new actors. And it's also really hard to make it a career where it's a full-time job where you're getting paid enough to live. It's very difficult. I remember even after I booked The Family Law, my agent said to me at the time, even big known actors and popular actors on TV will have a day job.
Yeah.
Because you just can't survive. There's not enough work. And the pay is not enough to survive. So that's why you see a lot of Australians move out to LA to try to pursue it here, because you can actually get paid well for your profession and there's more opportunities and the chances of success are higher. The odds are stacked against you in Australia, whereas here there's a fighting chance. It's entering the lottery. You just have to enter. You have to be in the race, and you just have to buy a ticket every time. So every time you get an audition, it's your lottery ticket, and you just have to do your best and hope for the best.
Yes, that's so right. When you said about a winning lottery, my dad still said that word. He said, it's about you. Are you going to win the lottery or not?
And you just got to play it every time. You got to play the game. You got to be in the game to win the game. And every time you just play.
Yeah, gotta be in it to win it too as well. But I also noticed lots of like here in Hollywood, I feel like it's so lucky you meet the actors from all over the world, right? I do notice lots of like my Australia friends and also the British actors moved to LA. They are very well trained because I feel maybe they are the best that moved here, right? Like you guys already kind of like past that bar, sort of.
Well, it's hard to get a visa to come to America as an actor. So you need credentials. There's like a list of 12 things you need to be able to get your O1 visa to work here. So it's most probable that whoever got an O1 visa is good enough to get one. Like they have to be substantially talented enough and have worked enough to get the actual visa. So that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's
the best
why
of the best come here.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, we always talk about that. I was like, why like most actors like from Australia, England, they came here, they kill, and they're so good because they already. Or like, I always wonder why they're so well trained. Like you mentioned, that makes sense, right? In order to get a visa, they gotta be the best.
Yes.
From where they are.
And also, you can't half-ass it in Australia because there's such limited opportunities. And also, acting is not really popular. It's not a popular job over there. Most people don't, grow up and think, I'm going to be an actor. It's such a wild dream. Most people go into a safe job. And so the people who actually want to be it will train their asses off to be good. And those who don't want to, they will just break away because there's a much easier life in Australia not being an actor.
Yeah, because I feel like some Australia friends I have, they also have very kind of like just relaxing. They're more chill.
They're so chill over there.
Yeah, right. But do you see yourself more like an American now? Because you like, I think you have like very much like a hustler spirit in you.
I've always been a hustler. Even in
Maybe
Australia,
being Asian.
Yeah, man, it's a hustler energy. The Asian hustle energy.
It's Asian thing, right?
Yeah, it's an Asian thing. I'm a hustler no matter where you put me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ripe in LA because everyone is a hustler. So I'm like, oh, I'm within my comfort zone. I'm with my people.
Do you want to stay here? Like, as this your permanent home? Do you think you see LA as your home now?
I don't know. I think it depends on who I marry.
Oh,
It depends on who I end up with.
That's the next question, right? Where are you finding your love, right?
Yeah.
That's that. Depending on where you finding your love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never know, right?
You never know.
So cool. All right. So you also mentioned about you were in that show called International Students with Ronnie Chen, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that show? Because obviously here in America, we never watched it, but we heard about it.
You can. It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu?
Wait,
okay, we
no,
need to check
that's
it.
the Family Law. The Family Law is on Hulu. The Family Law is on Hulu now.
Yeah.
Yes. And Ronnie Chang International Student is on YouTube. It's for free. You can watch it for free on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube? Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's also like kind of popular TV series in Australia, right?
At the time, I think it was. They were both quite well known.
It's like a half-hour comedy. Okay.
Yeah, half-hour comodies.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It was on Comedy Central here. It was a co-production between Comedy Central and ABC in Australia. So they aired it here at Comedy Central, and they also then put it on YouTube.
Oh, so it's free. So then that's very easy for people to watch, right?
Y'all don't have an excuse not
That's
to
good,
watch it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So now, if it's free, everybody can watch that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was actually the funnest job I had, and it was my first sort of foray into real comedy and seeing how real comedians work. Because Ronnie was a stand-up comedian, and then Molly, who played the other female character, she was in improv. She did improv and she was really good. And then Hua, who's another actor, he was just killing it. I mean, he's hilarious as an actor. He's just so good, so talented. So yeah, I think seeing them talk and interact made me think, oh, these are funny people. This is how comedians are just in real life. And it opened my eyes to that whole comedy world.
Yeah, so like, what is like to work with Ronnie Chang? Because like now you both are in America, right?
He's a sweetheart. He's a big fat sweetheart. He's probably one of the nicest people I know. When he was on set, oh, that's my phone. When we were on set, it was wintertime, it was freezing cold, but my character was always in summer clothing and with the shortest shorts. That's just how my character rolled. She'd wear these cute little cardigans and then the cute little short shorts. So I was freezing my butt off the whole time. And so Ronnie would wrap his jacket around my legs because I was so cold.
Oh,
Yeah, he was really sweet. He was all nice, and he'd take us out to dinner, and we would catch up, and yeah, it was a great time. And now everyone's too busy, and we just don't even have time to see each other.
yeah,
Which
but
is
you
so sad.
both are in America now. How interesting,
I
right?
know. Well, yeah, I know. Well, he was already moving. He was already working in the US when he was doing his show in Australia. He had just booked the Daily Show, and he was just starting to blow up. And then when I moved here, he helped me find my agent. We used to catch up quite a lot when I first moved here, but he's in New York most of the time, and sometimes he's here. But yeah, just he's too busy.
Yes, he's like pretty like kind of like huge right now in comedy world, and also like he's killing it in the films as well.
He is. He's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Genuinely one of the nicest and most talented comedians I know.
Yeah, he is hilarious. I have to say, like his stand up is amazing.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
I know.
Yeah. So speaking of agent, who is your agent now?
I'm with A3 Artists. They're my theatrical and digital agent. And I'm with Artwork as a management company. And in Australia, I'm with Natalie Hall Management.
So you still have like your Australian agent back then. They still kind of call you for audition stuff, right? And here you have like the local agent here in LA.
Yeah.
So both. That's so cool. See, like that is so cool. You guys being Australian, you can have jobs on both sides.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Right? You can like, so right now, see, like we have a writer's strike and the Screen Actors Guild, we also write a strike as well. So like,
Yeah, it's a
now
tough
there's
time.
no, work in our industry. Like you can still kind of audition some jobs in Australia, right?
Sure, I can make. Well, it's a touchy subject because I also write, so I can't pitch to anyone, but I can audition for things.
Yeah,
For sure.
over the Zoom, right? Yeah, I think like that's a thing during like a COVID. The whole industry has changed right now. So many auditions are done over Zoom, which is perfect.
It's great. I love it. You can be anywhere, anytime, and you can audition or Zoom audition or even self-tape. I
Yeah, you
love
can
self-taping.
retake so many takes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, I know. Heard lots of like traditional actors complain. They're just like, oh, we don't like self-taping. I'm like, why not? First, you don't have to drive there. Look for parking in LA. It's nightmare.
Yeah, and like learning lines and then doing it in front of people is so stressful. Like, I remember getting lines, the night before, and I'd spend all day learning it, and then you get there and the words just fly out of your head, and you're so nervous standing in front of the casting director. So you're having to act, and then you have to also think about your lines. The good thing about LA is that they let you hold your script, so worst comes to worst, you can look at your lines. But in Australia, you can't bring your lines, and you have to memorize it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really bad etiquette to not learn your lines. So you go in there, you learn your lines, and it's the stress of the audition. Like, I don't think I've done one audition where I haven't forgotten a line because I've been so nervous.
Wow.
So it affects your performance. But hey, those ones who can audition, there's actually classes for people for auditioning specifically. Because if you ace auditioning, you're gonna kill it because you're gonna be 90% better than everyone else like me who can't audition.
Yeah, like
I'm so nervous.
it's so funny. Last time this casting director did my podcast, because before he was casting director, he was actor. Because he said he just he couldn't do audition. Like he couldn't do audition. You know, some actors they may be so good with their craft and they can be so good on set, but they just cannot do audition because I think it's also like psychologically stress.
Yeah.
Like some people, even like you mentioned that go there, some people like just couldn't even handle just meeting the other actors there, like the social anxiety and it stressed you out.
It's
right?
a mind fuck.
Yeah, it is. You're so right about that. Because you go there, you think you got it, and then you look at the other actor sitting there, you're like they.
Automatically, you're like, nope. Your self-esteem suddenly just has a mental breakdown, and you just get really self-conscious.
Yeah, totally exactly. So now you don't have to deal with that much anymore. Because I feel like a lot of times, just like you mentioned, memorize the line is already so much stress, and you get there and look at all the other actors, like, oh fuck. Like, you know, those are my competitions, right? It's like that's another stress level there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just layers and layers of stress on top of each other.
Yeah, actors very strong species, I have to say.
Yeah.
Mentally.
yeah, you have to be like strong mentally. Gotta have no, what's it called? Like, 厚脸皮.
厚脸皮.
You need like a thick skin.
Yes. Oh, speaking of that, Sue, do you ever see yourself when you obviously speak?
I'm not gonna
Mandarin.
work in China.
So I want to ask you a question because like people keep saying, "Oh wow, the Chinese market is huge right now." I know this actor friend of mine. His name is Matt. He's like a white guy, speak perfect, like Chinese. Like his Chinese is better than mine. And he went to Beijing. He started like some Beijing film school, like university or something. And he got in like some TV series there. And I think he came back to Hollywood a couple of years ago. We kind of connected, and he said, "Oh, it's so competitive there."
Oh,
if you think
bet.
Hollywood is competitive.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. Like I remember meeting with producers and directors over there, and it's as an actor, you don't really get that much respect unless you're super famous.
Oh.
But you're not really I don't know if I should even say this. I don't want to be cancelled in China. Can you actually edit that part out? I just think it's too competitive.
No, I mean, we are speak up the truth. Everybody knows that. I have another comedian friend just moved back to Beijing as well because he has a comedy club in Beijing. He also said it's so competitive. He's on this show, like Chinese style SNL.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's also a Jewish guy who speaks Mandarin. I guess that's their niche. They're like, oh, you're different. But even he said it's so competitive. I guess, like, you know, the market. I mean, Hollywood is pretty competitive as well. He said that there is so competitive. Yeah, I haven't been back to China for like 12 years, 15 years, but I just overheard, oh my God, it's so advanced there, this and that. But like some people keep saying, oh, if you speak Mandarin, you should go there. But I was like, how?
I think I would be fighting a losing battle because I would be entering a gunfight with a knife. Because I am disadvantaged on so many fronts. I don't know anybody there.
Yeah, connection.
Yeah, my Chinese is not my main language. English is. And
were you born in Australia?
no, I was born in China, but I grew up in Australia. I mean, I moved there when I was 5, so I'm fully Australian. So I wouldn't say I'm, you know, using all my strengths over there if I do go over there.
Yeah, I also heard like, you know, there are lots of like, I mean, here in Hollywood, it's also about who you know, who knows you, whatever.
Absolutely.
It's everywhere, right?
Yeah, and the Chinese, as a culture, they're quite judgmental. And acting, I don't think is seen as a very prestigious job over there.
Yeah, I think I would be either
Unless you're
there.
like Fan Bingbing, you're famous.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got to find a husband one day, and I don't think China would be the optimal place to find a husband because as soon as they find out I'm an actor, they'll be like, next, thank you, next.
Oh, really? But I heard there is like a sort of racial, like, you know, like a female male, like.
Oh yeah, it's very unbalanced right now. There's a lot of males, a lot of females. No,
oh, really? Is that
a lot of males, not enough females?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because of the one-child policy.
Yeah, so like there are more guys, right?
There's more guys, so we got a lot to pick from, and there's not a lot of us. So we have, you know,
Maybe
supply
could be.
demand ratio.
Yeah. Speaking of that, well, what's dating life in Australia like? Is it like people say LA is so hard to date? Lots of my friends moved here, so they feel LA is so. It's such a lonely city, right? Do you feel the same way?
Oh, for sure. I did not have a problem dating in Australia. It was very easy to secure a boyfriend. And a nice guy, not toxic, a very healthy, very supportive, and genuinely like good guys. I did not think it was that hard to find them. But yeah.
So you think LA is hard?
Yeah, it's been a little tricky.
Yeah, lots of people said that. Like, oh, my friend was like, oh, I had to go back to Ohio, import my husband. But there is always someone, I believe, right? You can find someone for sure. You just have to kind of go through lots of, filter lots of people.
Sure.
Yeah, because there's just like LA have so many people.
There's a lot of people, and I think people come here to focus on their careers. It's a very transitional city. People come here with one mission, right? That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. And it's a career that is not very, let's say, family friendly or allowing for a balanced lifestyle. Because when you're set on chasing your dreams and focusing on your career, that's all you have time for. That's all your mind sets out for. And that's your priority. So when you're thinking about that, you don't really put as much thought or care into a person, another human being. So it's really hard to, I think, date. Not because I don't think people are not capable of being good partners, but the environment in which we're placed in is not conducive to being a supportive and generous partner, which I think is important and necessary for a fulfilling and long-term relationship.
Yeah, because they cannot be so dedicated to a relationship because they have like a priority is come here to make it.
So I think you really can only do it once you've sort of made it, or you're at some sort of level. Either you're both like struggling and you want to grow together, or if you've made it, you almost need to find someone else who has also made it, who's on the same level as you, because only they will understand what you're going through. And if honestly, time is really poor, and my ex would always complain that I didn't have time for him, that I didn't prioritize him, and that I didn't have a work-life balance. And then when we'd have arguments all the time, and he would ask me to spend more time with him and allocate time for him. And eventually I got annoyed at that because I'm like, our life is not structured. I do not have a 9-to-5 job. It doesn't work like that for me. Like I used to in Australia, I had a 9-to-5, and I dated someone with a 9-to-5, and it was easy to forge a life together because you had the same schedules, and then on weekends and at nights you had time to spend together because you just have 9-to-5 and you go home and you're done from work and you can focus on your extracurriculars. But like my ex was like constantly giving me grief about not spending enough time with him and not prioritizing him, and it got to the point where I was annoyed. I was like, I just want to focus on my career right now. I just want to work, and I don't want to be made to feel bad for it. Like, we can have our relationship time when we both have time for it, but I just didn't have time to put into a very like
dedicated relationship, you mean, right?
And I don't know if that was just like that relationship.
Is that because he's not in the industry? He didn't understand like what do you see? Like he didn't understand your schedule, right?
Well, that's a funny thing because he had a 9-to-5, but on the side he was an actor. Trying to be an actor.
This is like LA, everyone.
Yeah. And so I think he should have understood. But I think we just had different mindsets, and there was like a level of codependency that I just grew very tired of. And it just was not for me. Like, I think it would work maybe with someone in the same industry or someone that was not very needy, who allowed me to do what I needed to do for work. I allow him to do what he needs to work. We just like do our things and we come together when we come together, and there's no just like stress about it. Like, relationships are stressful enough. Like, don't need to add extra stress.
Yeah, exactly. Religion is supposed to contribute to like your personal life and your career. If it becomes stress, it's not worth it, because we are in this industry is highly demanding.
Yeah,
right?
it really is. Yeah.
So, like, you know, I mean, you would think, you know, oh, as actor, like I have a friend also complained she used to date this actor. Like you said, if they're not at the same level, like it's hard because they would not understand it. Or could it be like, you know, sometimes she gets audition and her partner get even jealous. So it's like, what? And then, like, that's just like interesting.
Yeah, that's like exactly what happened as well. He was like, oh, you're getting all these auditions. Why aren't I getting all these auditions?
For real.
For real.
I guess it's like
Chasing up his manager to get auditions. I'm like,
wow. I
we're
saw
at
maybe
different levels.
also for guys, like the ego, right? Like they probably feel like as a man, like, you know,
They want to be the more successful one.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Because in the relationship, you always think a man, they are like the one,
The breadwinners.
yeah, breadwinners, providers, and if they don't get addition, they feel like, oh, their self-esteem sort of like lower.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
could it be?
yes. I think you're exactly right. I think they maybe can't help it. I think it's a biological response. And that's fair enough. I just that's why you gotta like, either they have to be super confident if they are not.
Yeah,
at the
or like
same
be like you
level.
said, a super successful level, right?
Yeah.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they've been through that. So maybe a guy who has already been through what you've been through, they understand.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so they'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. So
Yeah. So my next goal, date someone who's more successful than
yeah,
me.
exactly. Maybe they like, you know, like, I mean, like successful. Do you think you're gonna date comedians or like actors? Like, say, what category? Like someone in the industry or someone not in the industry? I mean, it's hard to say though, right? Because
It's really hard to say because I told myself I would never date someone in the industry, and then I did. Because I always say, like, don't shit where you eat. And when I was in finance, when I worked a day job, I didn't really even become friends with my coworkers. I definitely did not date them. I always dated
you
outside.
want to be finance bro?
I actually did date a finance bro, but he was from a different company.
Okay.
So I don't mind dating same industry. It actually does make it easier, but just not in the same job. But it's easier when it's finance because it's defined. You have two separate companies. You're not going to merge. Whereas with acting, you could be working together in one project and then not working together in another project, and you just very, what's the word, like scattered. So I don't know. I used to say no, but then I dated a director, and then I dated another stand-up comedian, and then I dated a wannabe actor. So
Yeah, wannabe, that's a very like accurate word for
yeah. So I don't know. I have no rules for myself. I think maybe I should set some rules for myself.
you never know. Sometimes, like, you know, when love came, it just came, right?
When love comes, it comes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't control these things, but I think you can be careful before you catch feelings. You can be careful about who you allow into your life.
Yeah, and also you learned from your previous relationship. You know, it's gonna work, it's not gonna work, right?
Yeah. I've had experience now.
Yeah. Dating, like, I'm sure, like, you should enjoy, like, your time in LA right now. Like, I think as an
Thanks,
actor,
girl.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
dating different people from different background. There's so many guys here.
There are a lot of guys here.
So many guys in LA. That's
This is
one,
true.
right? So it's different from Australia, right?
Yeah, I think in Australia I'd feel a little bit more limited. Also because people get together really young and they stay together because it's a little bit more traditional. Yeah, so it feels like the pool just is just gets smaller and smaller and smaller as time goes by.
Yeah, but I hear like in LA, there's also the thing. They said lots of guys either has like a Peter Pan syndrome or like fuck boys. right? But
yeah.
you just enjoy the dating, right? You know,
Yeah, I'm not like a casual dater. Honestly, I've always been a relationship person.
You wanna
so
get
if I'm
in-
gonna date, I would date for the goal of finding someone to, settle down with. But you're right. I think I need to date to be able to do that. I need to go and like figure out what I want.
yeah, like there are so many different kinds of guys here. I keep seeing so many different guys as like a different like animal type.
They are different animal type. There's different species within the male category.
Yeah, just like say which one, like, you know.
There are simps, there are fuckboys, there are Peter Pan syndromes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Like I remember one of my friend used to go on dates every night.
Every night? That's
Like,
tiring.
Yeah, it is exhaustion.
I
Yeah.
had like 3 dates set up last week and I cancelled all of them.
Is that because of your work? Like,
Yeah.
or you just don't feel like it?
both. Like it got to the point and I was like, yeah, I'm meant to be filming today. I'm going to be tired tonight. I'm just going to.
You were like, this
Cancel.
guy's not, you look at the picture, this guy's not worth
I'm
it.
like, is it really worth the time? Nah.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. You haven't seen that guy yet. It's like, oh my God, this guy, I have to go see him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to date. Oh, this is so bad, but I call them normies where they're not in the industry. I'm trying to date someone or meet people outside of the industry. Because
Yeah, you have find like extraordinary person.
yeah, just like want to find someone that's not in the industry and doesn't care about this stuff and is just like a normal guy who's sweet and nice and charming and a loyal, funny man.
His sense of humor is important for you.
Yes, I don't think I could date someone that doesn't make me laugh.
Definitely not this
hard.
guy who just passing by and had their car like honking like that, trying to show like their muscle car. So many of those guys in Beverly Hills like this, driving in the car. It's like, hey, look at me.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah. It's like,
And I do be looking at their car and judging them.
yeah, they're
And
like
someone they got something to make up for.
lots of shallow guys
Yeah.
in LA as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, got to avoid those.
so all right, so let's back to your content creation. So like right now you mentioned about like content creation take lots of your times. So what's the biggest challenge for you as a content creator?
I think time is a big one. Finding the right team to help you with things. And I would say right now would be finding the right team and then scheduling, organizing filming with people, and overall I think the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah, I do heard lots of content creators talking about the mental health. You know, some people said, you know, when they reach really high point, like they just gave up. They couldn't do it. You know, remember, I just happened to came across this story. Do you know Ryan Higa, that YouTuber years ago? And then they said, like, talking about like for some reason he stopped making content. You know, there's also some other content creator talk about it's like a mental health. Feel like it's just eating them all alive. They don't enjoy doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it's all consuming actually. It's I think maybe the toughest part is never being able to switch off. That's the one thing I miss about a 9-to-5 job is that once you're done, you're done. You don't have to think about that job. Don't think about the company. You don't think about work until the next day you go back. There actually is an off switch. Whereas as a content creator, there is no off switch because every opportunity, everywhere I am, I'm seeing the opportunity to make content. I used to be a lot worse and I feel like I had to train myself to not do that because my boyfriends would get really annoyed at me. But I would like stand there and I'd be like, oh, this is funny, let's film this. But if your boyfriend's not into it or the person you're with is not into that, then it makes it really hard. You feel like you don't have that support and you don't want to piss them off. Because It is. You never stop. You literally never stop. And if you're not making a video, you're making a story about your life. And if you're not doing that, you're posting a video, or like, and if you're not doing that, you're taking a photo to post and you're editing photos. It's literally nonstop. And then you're ideating about what you're going to film next.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's like 24/7 job, and your mind can never shut it down, right? Like you said, every moment, every second, you're looking for that inspiration. You're gonna make a content on that.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, I've got to film this day. What am I gonna make? What am I gonna make? And you're just like in your head, just thinking, and then you. But I think the great thing about this is that it does give you a lot of freedom to do a lot of things you want to do and try.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I mean, nothing is perfect. No work is perfect. I'm sure, like there are people working in the finance world. They also feel depressed.
Sure,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
it's
course.
in every industry.
Yeah.
But do you think you truly enjoy like content creation? Do you love doing that? See, that's the point. It's about you couldn't see yourself doing anything else, right?
Other than like acting and producing.
Yeah, acting. Yeah, it's like right now it's pretty much merging, right?
Yeah, it's very
Like content-
similar. It's
yeah,
just
similar.
small scale, big scale.
Yeah, totally. So like, what is your like next? Say, what's next for you? You want to make another film? Do you want
Yeah, I do. I'm actively in development for my next project, and also I'm cast in a movie that is an indie film that's waiting on production, and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my social media side.
But you like so successful as a content creator, like I think do you ever think you want to take that success to create your own production company and to make your own like TV and film?
Yeah, for sure.
Just like, kind of like look at some other content creator, say Jake Paul, Logan Paul, what did they do?
Yeah.
They build their own big brand. Do you see yourself doing something similar to that?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like production company.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I have a production company in Australia. So I'd
cool.
love to start one here in LA. I just got to figure out what exactly I want to focus on. But yes, that's one of the many things that we got to get done, Kat.
So many things
taken off
besides
our list.
Besides looking for boyfriend.
This is why we don't have time to look for a boyfriend.
Yeah,
I need to hire someone to help me find a boyfriend.
Just hire like the matching like agency,
matchmaker.
like matchmaking agency or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's what I got to do.
But you still have to go on the dates with those guys, right?
I have to. Can I hire someone to go on a date with me?
Create
For me.
You can create like AI version of you,
Yeah.
and send that person
Yeah.
like AI version
yes.
of you to go on dates.
This is what it should be. It should be an AI dating simulation where this is the first step, first level of interaction. Do you pass the AI test?
Totally, yeah. That's maybe that could be something.
That could be a thing. We could make a TV show out of that.
Yes, I was just about saying that with AI is big right now. How like in the future, what's a dating life is gonna be in the future, right?
Yeah, just two AIs, one that represents you, one that represents the other guy. They first meet up, have a conversation. If that goes well, then you meet in person.
Yeah, and then maybe they should try to live together to see are they compatible or not. If they are, and then the two real couple can actually merge. You don't have to waste your time, right?
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
See, that could be fun. Oh my gosh, this is $1 million idea already.
$1 million idea. You saw it right here.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to ask you some fun questions as well. If you can only choose one type of food to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Sashimi.
Sashimi. Oh my gosh, girl, me too. High five. Yeah. So, all right. So, should we talk about your background, right? You're Chinese as well. So, like, when you were a little girl, like back in China, like have you ever thought, being like this kind of strong and powerful woman, you grow up and you ever thought one day I grow up, I'm going to inspire the girls like all around the world. Have you ever had that thoughts? Because I feel you have that in you. Like your content is so positive, Because I feel like one day I see you as this kind of how to say, positive TED Talk kind of actress will give speech to the young girls.
Oh, I would actually love that.
Right?
Yeah, totally foresee myself doing that, and that was a big driver of mine, because I grew up in a society where women were considered second to compared to men. In China, you know, during the one-child policy, boys were deemed as more important than girls. And my dad, he grew up in the countryside, and over there men are very obviously favored over girls. And so my dad always wanted a son, but he got 2 daughters, and I always felt like this chip on my shoulder that I had to prove that a daughter is better than a son, and I would be more successful than a son you could ever have. And yeah, that definitely drove me to prove that women are just as good as men.
Yeah.
Better.
I'm sure your dad are proud of you. Your parents, like your mom and dad, right? Do you think they're proud of you?
I think my mum is now. I think my dad, we don't really talk that much, so yeah. I think one day when he and I are on better terms, I'll tell him what I'm doing, and hopefully he'll be proud of me.
Oh, yeah. I have to say, like, nowadays I saw so many kick-ass women in the industry. I'm like so proud of them. Like girls that start taking the leads, producing. Look at Reese Witherspoon. Her production company.
Inspirational.
Yeah, right. Like she's like, you know, just kick ass, and not just actress. She's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
You know, like acquire books and making film, and just so inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe there's something, I don't know, do you feel so? I think women sometimes are like this. When they concentrate on something, they are very focused women.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't get distracted by some other things. They just like, you wanted to do this.
They can be very driven when they have their mindset to something.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So definitely one day maybe I will see you in some TED Talk.
Oh, I hope so. Someone hire me right now.
Yeah, totally. Or like even just make a film about that, right? That'd be cool as well. So you see, you never know. The future is just unknown.
Yeah, the future is unknown. It's true.
So Sue, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, just, you know, my social channels, the One Shu, and just go to Amazon, go to IMDb, find that 5 Blind Dates movie, and then put it on your wish list. So when it comes out,
it's on Amazon.
It'll be on Amazon Prime.
That's so cool. Yeah, Amazon. So when?
We don't know yet. It hasn't been announced.
This year, right? Sometime this year. 5 Blind Dates.
We don't know.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Like, come on, like you like made your own film. Like that's like, it's a milestone for actors.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, because a lot of times actors, you're waiting for opportunity to land. But like, you know, takes a lots of efforts to just say, hey, I want to make something I wanted to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's, I feel like another thing about content creation, because you can take that step and actually make it happen.
Yeah.
Not just waiting for a casting call anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
So way to go on content creation.
Thank you.
More success. All right, cool. Thank you for doing my podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Right.
This is a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Ciao.